All right, let's write about obesity. We were just talking about this in a recent class. So let's try it out. We got obesity rates, and the best way to plan for a holiday is not planning at all. Okay, so we're at 1239. And let's check that out. Okay. So first, we want to look at it's 1971, 76, 88, 99, 01, 03, 05. Weird dates. Totally weird. And then age groups 18 to 29, 30 to 44, 45 to 64, and 65 to 74. Also weird numbers. Then the percentages on the vertical axis go in increments of 5% increments to a peak of 45%. And that's it. Okay, so the question, the table, it's not really a table, but the graph depicts the range of obese people by their ages from the years 1971 to 2005. We can describe the chart. So the vertical axis well, okay, we'll put depicts here and change this. Highlights the range of obese people by their ages from the years. All right, it's kind of a weird way to say it. The vertical axis depicts the percentage in 5% increments from 0% to 45%, and the horizontal axis shows, I'm a little rusty, depicts, what's a better way? That's a bad way. I don't think it delineates, but this is linear, so let's sure, delineates. I was thinking that the years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is like such a weird jump. We have 5 years, then we have 12 years, then we have 12 years, then we have 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. So strange. So I'm just gonna put it in a list because there's no real rhyme or reason for these dates that I'm aware of. Okay, so overall, as is readily evident, all persons typically I wouldn't say that, and I just told someone I shouldn't say this, but all persons in, like, persons is only a formality. You should only use it in a highly formal situation. So all persons in every age group have substantially increased their weights. Okay. Not every person. So as is readily evident, a vast majority of people in every age group have substantially increased their weights, because it's people during these time periods. There's none that went down. Only the elderly went down slightly, but everybody's up. So let's remember I say we can split it half and half. So I'm gonna just split it from young and old. So pertaining to those let's just do people surveyed, people within the youngest group, and they've actually stayed the thinnest throughout. So we need to emphasize that. So people within the youngest group, and let's start putting it in brackets. People within the youngest 18 have remained the least obese out of all shown in this diagram. Let me just make sure we're live. Okay. Young adults. These are young adults. The young adults in this age range let's go right to the point. So approximately 7.5% of young adults in this age range were overweight. Which was significantly less than the other three age groups at the beginning by at least another, well, let's say at least by half. By at least half. From okay, those aged 30 to 44 were the second had the second least amount of second lowest obesity rate, 15%. 1971, and both groups had similar stable rates until 1976. All groups experienced a massive spike in weight gain from 1976 until about 1999. At this point, the youngest group began to level off and remained under 25% overweight by 2005. 30 to 44-year-olds dipped slight. Year-olds, let's make it possessive. 30 to 44-year-olds rates or proportions. Let's quit saying rates. Proportions dipped slightly, then shot up again to a maximum of over 35% in the end. So we've done the two youngest groups. Now we move on to the two oldest groups. Okay, so pertaining to those who were 45 to 64 years of age, they had the same number of obese. How can we say that? Something silly. Incredibly fat, dangerously obese, super obese. No, I want to say overweight. Corpulent, chubby. Oh. Stout, rotund. That sounds. Let's say something that I would say they had the same number of high levels of fat people. I don't know. Those who were 45. Pertaining to those who were of older ages in 1971, let's put it, and 65 to 74 years of age, pertaining to those who were of older ages in 1971, they had the same numbers of obese citizens, roughly 17.5%, which considerably skyrocketed until 1999, which both age groups had hit a plateau and remained stable until, or let's say through to 2003. Finally, the eldest group, 65 to 74, had the eldest group experienced a decline, or let's say a reduction in obese people, but and their numbers were ever so slightly below people who were younger in 2005 at 35%, and middle-aged people 45 to 64 became the most over the group with the highest amount of obese persons, let's throw it in there, in 2005 with over 40%. Good. $275, we're massively over. So we 39, we're at 257. Okay. All right. So that took us 20 minutes. The best way to plan a holiday is not by planning at all. To what extent do you disagree or agree? Personally, I disagree, but I'm gonna agree. I think many people are going to, I'm gonna disagree, but typically I would agree. So, we start with a background statement, we give our thesis, a breakdown, and then we write it. So, when vacationing, many people decide to travel without planning and believe this is the optimal way to enjoy a trip. Personally, I firmly opine that researching and having a well-developed itinerary allows for a more joyful experience, in addition to providing one with peace of mind. I don't know if that's one word. Instead of going with the flow. It's not really something you should say. Instead of traveling unprepared. Okay. So I gave a little background. I said I disagree. Let's say I personally hold an opposing viewpoint and opine that researching and having a well-developed itinerary allows for more joyful experience in addition to providing one with a sense of peace of mind instead of traveling unprepared. So let's try to steelman it. While I can understand where people are coming from when they venture out into the world without any sort of I don't want to say plan all the time. Plan. What is a plan? Idea of what they will do, as this permits one the ability to, did I already say that? Experience sporadic While I can understand where people are coming from, why people would advocate, let's be more precise. While I can understand why some advocate for venturing out into the world without any sort of idea of what they will do, as this permits the ability to have sporadic experiences. From my own experiences, this has the potential to lead to catastrophic issues that can easily be avoided with a little bit of planning. For instance, right? So research and well-developed itinerary. So, for instance, if one were to hop onto a plane and go to China without any preparation whatsoever, they could meet some resistance and intend on traveling to China without any preparation whatsoever. They could meet with some resistance at the Chinese border, as they typically, as the officials typically request a detailed explanation of where you are going, where you wish to go, and what you want to do, or you may be rejected from entering the country. I had this experience, so I can speak from experience. Instead of providing that you booked a hotel, had an printout of the reservation, even if you did not actually end up staying at that hotel, by pre-planning your trip, one could completely avoid, get around right? Providing that you had booked a hotel, had a printout of the reservation, even if you did not actually end up staying at that hotel. By pre-planning, let's not use that. Let's use semicolons. By pre-planning your trip, one could completely thus bit of preparation, your travels could be more efficient. Moreover, well-developed itinerary, joyful innovative sense of peace of mind. Okay, peace of mind. Someone who, again, we're like talking good about the other argument first, and then we talk about ours. So, moreover, someone who is freely traveling around the world might consistently worry about where they will sleep each evening and have some uncertainty about what they will eat and do. On the contrary, those who have resorts booked, or at least know about potential accommodations. On the contrary, those who have resorts booked, or at least know about potential accommodations, options, would likely not have to ponder about these things. Instead, they could focus on the excursions they could participate in, as well as know exactly what they will dine on, and the price points. Price points of each meal, thereby providing peace of mind, thereby easing the mind and someone who is freely traveling around the world might consistently worry about where they will sleep each evening and have some uncertainty about what they will eat and do. On the contrary, those who have resorts booked, or at least know about the potential accommodation options, would likely not have to ponder about these things. Instead, they could focus on the excursions they could participate in, as well as know exactly what they will dine on and the price points of each meals, thereby easing one's mind and alleviating the stress of not knowing. someone whilst exploring a place, foreign land, and discovering random places, random hot spots, no random hidden gems. What's a hidden gem? Local, famous, local fanfares. And fanfare is like, I don't even know how to describe that. Define fanfare. Flourish, blast, no. Media attention, is that the wrong word? Maybe I'm wrong. That's the wrong word. Local famous cuisine, dining. Famous and shopping. Let's just say points of interest. Whilst exploring a foreign land and discovering random hidden gems, in other words, local famous points of interest, has its merits. I find having a clear plan more thrilling, so I can have more time to spend on other things rather than aimlessly hoping to find something good. Okay. In conclusion, insurmountable numbers, I think it's one word, one R, insurmountable numbers of tourists travel the globe daily, and many decide to plan it out carefully while others at the same time. I want to say while another way. Whereas, meanwhile. I want meanwhile. Meanwhile, others detest the idea of a plan and go about their travel without a care in the world. I am one who I firmly agree with the what is that word? Former method and would much prefer a detailed plan. So okay, so we still got 20 minutes. So, all right, let's read it out. When vacationing, people decide to travel. When vacationing, many people decide. Many people decide to travel without planning and believe this is the optimal way to enjoy a trip. Personally, I hold an opposing viewpoint and opine that researching and having a well-developed itinerary allows for a more enjoyable experience, in addition to providing one with a sense of peace of mind instead of traveling unprepared. While I can understand why some advocate for venturing out into the world without having any sort of idea of what they will do, as this permits one the ability to have sporadic experiences. From my own experiences, first-hand situation, let's say that. From a first-hand perspective. From a first-hand perspective, this has the potential to lead to catastrophic issues that can easily be avoided with a little bit of planning. For instance, if one were to hop onto a plane and intend on traveling to China without any preparation whatsoever, they could meet some resistance at the Chinese border, as the officials typically, considering the officials typically request a detailed explanation of where you wish to go and what you wish to do, or you may be rejected from entering the country, providing that you had booked a hotel, had the printout of the reservation, even if you didn't actually intend to staying at that place. By pre-planning your trip, one could complete the immigration control check without any worries, thus supporting my idea that with a bit of preparation, your travels could be more efficient. Moreover, someone who's freely traveling around the world might consistently worry about where they will sleep each evening and have some uncertainty about what they will eat and do. On the contrary, those who have resorts booked or at least know about potential accommodation options would likely not have to ponder about these things. Instead, they could focus on excursions that they could participate in, as well as know exactly what they will dine on and the price points of each meal, thereby easing one's mind and alleviating the stress of not knowing. Whilst exploring a foreign land and discovering random hidden gems, in other words, local famous points of interest, has its merits, I find having a clear plan more thrilling, so I can have more time to spend on other things rather than aimlessly hoping to find something good. In conclusion, unbelievable amounts of people, insurmountable numbers of tourists travel the globe daily, and many decide to plan it out carefully. Meanwhile, others detest the idea of a plan and go about to travel without a care in the world. I firmly agree with the former method and would much prefer a detailed plan in order to enjoy my holiday. Let's check it. I don't know. It would be nice if it's an 8. I don't know if that's an 8 or not. It's long. It's very long. I always write long. That would be nice. Come on. 8! Woo! So it could be a 7.5. Cool. Wow. No grammar problems. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of a vast majority. A vast majority, as is readily evident. Vast these time periods. Check again. I don't know if that needs a comma. I don't think it does. As is readily evident, it would be better. Yeah, okay. Well, we got an 8, everybody. I hope it helps you, gives you some insights how to do this, and see you in the next one.